Okay, so I understand the fact that the first video of a YouTube channel should be important. It should set the tone for what the channel will be about and so on. I'm just gonna skip that entirely. As far as introductions go, you can simply call me B. I'm a small-time writer. I just have some minor publishings in Italian, some poems and some short stories. And I want to share my passion for writing and for literature, right? So I thought about it. I thought, what would be the perfect first video? I could be philosophical and start wondering upon what literature truly is. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think I have the philosophical depth required for something like that. So I'll just keep it something way more simpler. How writers write. And I'm not talking about first drafts, second drafts, brainstorming sessions, notepads, character creations, first drafts, stylistic choices, grammar, world building, lore. No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the method. Or if we want to be classy about it, the modus operandi. Or more simply, the ritual. Now, I noticed this while reading a bunch of articles on the Paris Review, and I will try to quote my sources because I do have my trusted clipboard and I have a bunch of quotes that I would like to go through. Okay, so let's try some examples, right? The first one would be someone that writes very long books. Someone that probably your dear old granny used to read. Either that or I have a very sadistic grandma. However, Stephen King. Now, Stephen King, clipboard, quote, "I like to get 10 pages a day, which amounts to 2,000 words. That's 180,000 words over a 3-month span. A goodish length for a book. Something in which the reader can get happily lost in the tale if it's done well and stays fresh." Now, 2,000 words a day is a lot. This script that I have written for this video is not even 2,000 words long, and that includes all these quotes. So yeah, that's a lot. But on the other side, let's take someone that has a different approach, right? And I'm talking about Ernest Hemingway. No. I'm not talking about the Ernest Hemingway that wrote about war and about hunting parties. No. I'm talking about the Hemingway that was a bit more autobiographical. The Hemingway of his life in Paris. The Hemingway of A Movable Feast. And here's a quote. "But sometimes when I was starting a new story and I could not get it going, I would sit in front of the fire and squeeze the peel of the little oranges into the edge of the flame and watch the sputter of blue that they made. I would stand and look out over the roofs of Paris and think, 'Do not worry, you have always written before and you will write now. All you have to do is write one true sentence. Write the truest sentence that you know.'" Now, we could argue and think about what the validity of truth is, and there are a lot of considerations in Hemingway that are worthwhile. Probably I'll get back to him in another video. But here's the thing. Compared to the approach of someone like Stephen King, who has to write daily 2,000 words, for Hemingway it was enough that one true sentence. Quantity, quality, again, every writer has his own approach, right? And that's the method. Now, what about a place? Where do writers write? Let's take, for example, someone like Dalton Trumbo. I'm sorry to say that I don't know his works, I never read him, but the guy wrote in a bathtub. Can you imagine the wrinkles? And this is just a warning, of course, for anyone who wants to try Trumbo's approach. If you have a laptop, be sure not to write in a bathtub while the laptop is plugged in. The stories you could write could be shocking. Okay, I will try to avoid bad puns. I will probably not avoid bad puns. However, we were saying about places to write. Here's a different approach by E.B. White. E.B. White wrote children's stories, and he also has something very interesting to say about that. He says something along the lines that you should write up to a child and not down, and that has all the implications about how children are a very demanding audience. But let's see what he has to say about writing. I never listen to music when I'm working. I haven't the kind of attentiveness, and I wouldn't like it at all. On the other hand, I'm able to work fairly well among ordinary distractions. My house has a living room that is at the core of everything that goes on. It is a passageway to the cellar, to the kitchen, to the closet where the phone lives. There's a lot of traffic, but it's a bright, cheerful room, and I often use it as a room to write in, despite the carnival that is going on all around me. So he has a more chaotic approach. He can write amidst chaos. Well, let's see someone that does the contrary. Khaled Hosseini, another writer, says something different. I write while my kids are at school and the house is quiet. I sequester myself in my office with mug of coffee and computer. I can't listen to music when I write, though I have tried. I pace a lot, keep the shades drawn. I take brief breaks from writing, 2-3 minutes, by strumming badly on a guitar. I try to get 2 or 3 pages in per day. I write until about 2 p.m. when I go to get the kids. Then I switch to dad mode. Okay, so it seems that the fact of listening to music is both E.B. White and Hosseini, they cannot listen to music. But again, he requires a more tranquil environment. Peace and quiet. The tranquility Hosseini needs. And yet he does also have this quota, right? 2 or 3 pages a day. Not the 2,000 words of Stephen King, but still a hefty amount. Now, what about something more physical? Something that puts you in a loop, where you strain your body. And here's where Murakami enters the scene. Quote, when I'm in writing mode for a novel, I get up at 4 a.m. and work for 5 to 6 hours. In the afternoon, I run for 10 kilometers, or swim for 1500 meters, or do both. Then I read a bit and listen to some music. I go to bed at 9 p.m. I keep to this routine every day without variation. The repetition itself becomes the most important thing. It's a form of mesmerism. I mesmerize myself to reach a deeper state of mind. Okay, so he hypnotizes himself into a loop and constantly writes. And also he requires physical exercise to strain his body dry and then restart anew the following morning. That is something that I would never ever do. That's just too much. But again, it's his ritual. And that's the point of this video, right? And this brings me to my final example. A writer that I'm sad to say I do not know anything about. I have just read this interview on the Paris Review, and his words hit close to home. Quote, I start working when everyone has gone to bed. I've had to do that ever since I was young. I had to wait until the kids were asleep. And then I was working at various jobs during the day. I've always had to write at night. But now that I'm established, I do it because I'm alone at night. Now, I don't have any kids and I don't have a day job, but I do write at night. And this is my personal example, the final one. I usually drink an energy drink at night. I watch a video on the internet or whatever on YouTube, and that just puts me in the mood to write because I gather my ideas. It's my ritual, right? This is what the video is about after all. So after I drink that energy drink, after I watch anything on YouTube, I start writing, and I go on till about 4 or 5 in the morning. It depends on my mood. And I do enjoy that tranquility, that peace, probably the same one that Hosseini enjoys. It is in those hours of night that when for instance you can hear a pin drop to the floor and it echoes around the house, it's not that I find it fascinating as much as I find it soothing. It's calm, and I like to work in that manner. I like to work in that calm, tranquil environment. So that is my view. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any ritual or method you want to add, or any writer that I might miss, and I think that I have missed a lot of them. These are just a couple of examples that I want to share. If you want, you can leave a comment. If not, that's not a problem. Till next time, till the next video, don't forget to smile. Have a nice one.